When the world becomes too loud, it is easy to lose yourself in the noise of opinions, judgments, and distractions. But true strength begins in silence. In silence, you discover clarity, and in clarity, you find direction. To walk your own path, you must focus not on others, but only on yourself, your growth, your discipline, your energy. These are not for display, but for building an unshakable foundation within. Speak less, listen more, and act with purpose. When you master yourself in silence, the world will feel your presence without you needing to announce it. Silence sharpens focus because it removes the unnecessary noise that distracts the mind from its purpose. In a world filled with constant voices, opinions, notifications, and pressure to respond, silence has become a rare and often uncomfortable state. Yet, it is within silence that clarity begins to form. When you deliberately choose quiet, you create space between yourself and the external noise. That space allows you to notice your own thoughts, your real priorities, and the direction you must take without being swayed by what others demand of you. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. It is the moment where your energy is not scattered outward, but gathered inward, giving you the ability to channel it toward what truly matters. Focus is not a gift, it is a skill. And like any skill, it must be trained. But training the mind is not about filling it with more information, more advice, or more strategies. It is about learning how to cut away what is unnecessary. Silence is the tool for this cutting. Imagine trying to see your reflection in moving water. It is blurry, distorted, and unclear. Now imagine that same water when it becomes still. It reflects your image with perfect clarity. This is what silence does to the mind. It stills the endless movement of thoughts and chatter, so that focus can become sharp, unwavering, and precise. Without silence, focus is weak because it is pulled in every direction by distractions. Most people misunderstand silence. They see it as passive, as if nothing is happening. But in truth, silence is an active force. It teaches you discipline because you must resist the urge to fill the emptiness with noise. It teaches you patience because growth in silence is invisible at first, like seeds germinating underground. It teaches you strength because the ability to remain still and calm when everything around you is loud requires deep inner control. This inner training builds a level of focus that no amount of external motivation can provide. Focus born out of silence is not dependent on circumstances. It is rooted in who you are becoming. When you practice silence, you also detach from the constant comparison to others. Noise often comes in the form of watching what others are doing, listening to their judgments, or feeling pressure to keep up with their pace. Silence removes this need. It reminds you that your energy is precious and must not be wasted on things that do not contribute to your growth. In silence, you learn to turn your attention inward, asking yourself where your path leads, rather than being pulled onto someone else's road. This is where real focus is cultivated, not in competition, but in alignment with your own purpose. Even moments of stillness during your daily life can sharpen your focus. When you wake up, instead of rushing into conversations or distractions, spend a few moments in silence to set your direction. When you feel overwhelmed, step back and embrace silence instead of reacting immediately. These small practices accumulate, training your mind to respond with clarity instead of chaos. The more you practice silence, the stronger your focus becomes. And the stronger your focus becomes, the more progress you make without wasting energy on unnecessary battles. Through silence, you learn to see what others cannot. While they are consumed by noise, you are refining your vision. While they are scattering their attention, you are gathering your strength. And while they are speaking to be heard, you are working in silence so that your results speak for you. This is the true power of sharpening focus through silence. It is not about retreating from life, but about mastering yourself so that when you act, your actions are decisive, clear, and unstoppable. Energy flows where attention goes because whatever you focus on naturally grows stronger in your life. The human mind is like a lens. Wherever it is directed, it magnifies that area. If your thoughts are scattered, your energy is scattered as well, and you feel drained without achieving anything meaningful. But when your attention is concentrated on one purpose, one vision, or one task, your energy aligns itself with that focus, creating momentum and power. This is why attention is not just a mental act. It is the foundation of how your life unfolds. Every outcome you experience is linked directly to where you consistently place your attention. Most people underestimate the power of attention because they treat it lightly. They allow it to wander endlessly toward distractions, negativity, and trivial matters. They spend hours thinking about problems that do not matter, people who do not contribute to their growth, or fears that may never even happen, and yet they wonder why they feel exhausted, unmotivated, or stuck. The truth is simple: energy follows attention. If your attention is on weakness, your energy feeds weakness. If your attention is on growth, your energy feeds growth. This principle is universal, and you cannot escape it. The only choice you have is whether you will use it consciously or unconsciously. When your attention is directed toward your goals, your energy is no longer wasted. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, it becomes a laser. Think of sunlight. When it is scattered, it warms gently, but does little more. But when concentrated through a magnifying glass, it can create fire. Your energy works the same way. Focus it, and you ignite progress. Let it scatter, and it evaporates into nothing. The more consistently you hold your attention on what you want to create, the more your energy begins to align your actions, habits, and even subconscious patterns toward that reality. The challenge is not knowing where to put your attention. Most people already know what they want: health, success, peace, or growth. The challenge is protecting attention from being stolen by distractions. Every time you scroll endlessly, gossip, or complain, you are giving away energy. Every time you dwell on fear or envy, you are watering the wrong seeds. The discipline of mastering your attention is the discipline of mastering your energy. Once you decide where your focus belongs, your energy begins to build in that direction, and life starts to shift. What once felt impossible starts to move, because your energy is no longer diluted. Energy is not infinite, and this is why attention matters so much. You wake up each day with a certain amount of energy, and whether you invest it wisely or waste it depends entirely on your attention. If you invest it in meaningful work, personal growth, or silence and reflection, the return is strength, clarity, and results. If you waste it on negativity, distraction, or shallow pursuits, the return is emptiness. What you repeatedly attend to becomes your reality. Every achievement is proof of energy placed in the right direction. Every failure to progress is proof of energy scattered in the wrong one. Even your emotions follow this principle. If your attention is always on what you lack, your energy feeds feelings of scarcity. If your attention is on gratitude, your energy feeds feelings of abundance. If your attention is on setbacks, you feel weak. If your attention is on lessons, you feel empowered. The mind shapes the emotional state, and the emotional state shapes the way you use your energy. Master attention, and you master not only your focus, but also your inner strength. The practice is simple, but requires consistency. Guard your attention like it is your greatest treasure, because it is. Remove distractions that pull your energy away from your purpose. Remind yourself daily of where your focus belongs. Train your mind to return again and again to what is meaningful. As you do this, your energy will stop leaking into what does not serve you and will instead accumulate, grow, and expand in the direction of your vision. This is the way to build unstoppable momentum, not by wishing for energy, but by directing it with attention that never wavers. Comparison weakens growth because it shifts your focus away from your own path and places it on someone else's journey. Growth is an inward process, a measure of how far you have come from where you started, not how far ahead or behind you are compared to another person. When you compare yourself, you stop measuring your progress by your own standards and begin to live by the timeline, achievements, or appearances of others. This exchange takes away your power. It makes you blind to the unique pace and potential within you, and instead ties your self-worth to external benchmarks that were never meant to define you. Every individual carries a different story, different strengths, and different challenges. What you see on the outside is only a fraction of what is real. Comparison ignores this truth. It convinces you that someone else's visible success must mean your own path is lacking. But growth does not happen in straight lines, and it does not happen at the same speed for everyone. Some seeds bloom quickly, others take time beneath the soil before breaking through. If you keep digging up your own seed to see why it does not look like the one next to it, you stop it from growing at all. Comparison is the act of digging up your seed, constantly questioning why it does not look like another, and in doing so, you weaken your own process. The energy that should be fueling your personal progress gets wasted when you focus on others. Instead of building your habits, sharpening your skills, or nurturing your mindset, you spend time analyzing, envying, or criticizing. This is energy drained into areas that give nothing back to you. Growth requires attention, patience, and consistent effort. Comparison steals all three. It makes you restless because you feel behind. It makes you impatient because you expect faster results. It makes you inconsistent because you try to copy someone else instead of mastering your own rhythm. When this cycle repeats, growth slows down until it almost feels impossible. Beyond slowing progress, comparison creates dissatisfaction. Even when you are doing well, achievements lose their meaning because you immediately measure them against someone else's. What could have been a source of pride becomes a reminder of what you still lack. This mindset ensures you will never feel complete, no matter how much you achieve, because there will always be someone with more. Growth requires gratitude and acknowledgement of progress, but comparison blocks both. It tricks you into believing you are not enough, and when you believe that, your effort loses strength. The antidote to comparison is awareness of your uniqueness. No one else carries your exact mix of experiences, skills, and challenges. No one else is walking your exact path. Growth only makes sense when measured against yourself. Your yesterday versus your today. If you ran a little further, worked a little harder, or became a little stronger than before, you are growing. That growth is real, even if it looks different from what others display. Redirecting your focus inward transforms comparison into inspiration. Instead of weakening your growth, observing others can motivate you, but only if you use it as proof of what is possible, not as a weapon against your own progress. True growth requires silence from the noise of comparison. It asks you to commit to your journey fully, without being distracted by where others are standing. It asks you to be patient with your pace, consistent with your efforts, and focused on your unique direction. When you release comparison, you free your energy to flow where it belongs, toward your own becoming. In that freedom, growth accelerates because you are no longer divided between your path and someone else's. You are finally whole, moving forward without hesitation. And every step carries the strength of knowing it belongs to you. Discipline builds inner strength because it demands control over impulses, consistency in action, and commitment to long-term goals despite short-term discomfort. It is the practice of choosing what you need most over what you want in the moment. When discipline is present, you no longer operate on moods or fleeting motivation. You act according to principles and commitments. This repeated practice becomes the foundation of inner strength because it teaches you that you are capable of controlling yourself rather than being controlled by circumstances or desires. Each act of discipline is a quiet victory, and these victories accumulate until they shape a resilient character. Inner strength is not built by comfort, but by challenge. Discipline creates those challenges deliberately. Waking up early when you want to stay in bed, practicing when you feel tired, staying silent when anger rises, or focusing when distractions call. Each of these moments requires you to push against ease and move toward effort. This repeated resistance strengthens the mind, much like lifting weights strengthens the body. Muscles grow when they are tested with resistance. And the same is true for inner strength. Without discipline, the mind remains weak, easily swayed, and unable to endure struggle. With discipline, the mind grows unshakable, steady, and prepared for whatever difficulties life brings. Discipline also teaches patience, one of the deepest forms of strength. The modern world is built on speed and instant gratification, but true growth does not happen instantly. Progress in any area, health, mastery, wisdom, or peace, requires consistency over time. Discipline trains you to accept the slow, steady nature of growth and to keep moving even when results are invisible. It silences the restless part of the mind that demands quick rewards and instead builds the endurance to stay the course. This endurance is inner strength, the ability to keep going not because it is easy or exciting, but because it is necessary. Another way discipline builds inner strength is through self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your trust in your own word grows. Every time you break it, that trust weakens. Discipline is the act of proving to yourself over and over that you can be relied upon. This creates confidence that does not depend on external validation. You begin to know deep within that you will show up, you will stay consistent, and you will carry through no matter the conditions. This trust in yourself is one of the strongest forms of power because it cannot be taken away by anyone or anything. Discipline also protects you from the chaos of external influences. Life will always present temptations, distractions, and pressures. Without discipline, you are at the mercy of these forces, moving wherever they push you. With discipline, you remain grounded, anchored by your own choices. You learn to respond rather than react, to stay focused rather than scattered. This stability under pressure is the essence of inner strength. It means you can endure storms without losing your path, face challenges without collapsing, and keep your integrity, even when it would be easier to give in. Though discipline may appear strict, it is actually a form of freedom. It frees you from being ruled by impulses and weak desires. It frees you from regret that comes from inconsistency. It frees you from the frustration of starting over again and again. This freedom strengthens the spirit because it allows you to live with clarity and direction. Instead of being tossed around by circumstances, you move with intention. Instead of waiting for conditions to be perfect, you act regardless of them. In this way, discipline becomes not a burden, but a source of deep power, and that power reveals itself as the quiet, unshakable strength within. Presence is louder than words because it communicates without sound, leaving an impact far greater than speech alone. Words can be rehearsed, manipulated, or forgotten, but presence is undeniable. It is the energy you carry, the way you move, the way you hold yourself in silence. People may not always remember what you say, but they will always feel how you made them feel. Presence is the invisible force that commands attention without demand, respect without request, and influence without effort. It is not about speaking more, but about embodying more. More focus, more awareness, more authenticity. True presence comes from alignment, when your mind, body, and spirit are unified. You radiate a strength that requires no explanation. Someone deeply present is not scattered by distractions or consumed by self-doubt. Their stillness draws others in, because it is rare in a world filled with noise. Presence is felt in the way you listen fully, in the way you observe without rushing, and in the way you stand grounded when chaos surrounds you. This centeredness says more than any speech could. It speaks of discipline, awareness, and inner power without a single word needing to be spoken. Presence also reflects mastery over the self. Many try to prove their worth through endless talking, showing, or convincing. But those with presence understand that strength does not need to announce itself. Silence, backed by confidence, speaks volumes. It shows that you do not need validation from others because you are already rooted within yourself. This quiet assurance communicates authenticity, and authenticity is magnetic. People naturally trust and follow those whose presence feels real because it carries the weight of truth rather than the emptiness of performance. Your presence can inspire, comfort, or even intimidate, depending on the energy behind it. When you walk into a room with calm certainty, others feel at ease. When you carry determination, others sense your seriousness. When you radiate discipline, others are reminded of their own lack of it. None of this is spoken, but it is understood instantly. Words can lie, but presence cannot. It reveals the truth of who you are, even when you remain silent. This is why cultivating presence is more powerful than trying to perfect what you say. Words may win arguments, but presence wins hearts, minds, and respect. Presence is also a result of focus. When your attention is scattered, your presence weakens. People can feel when you are distracted or half involved. But when your attention is fully here, in this moment, your presence grows strong. Listening deeply, watching closely, and engaging fully are acts of respect, and they carry more weight than any empty words of flattery. Presence shows commitment in ways words cannot. It tells others that they matter, that this moment matters, and that you are not elsewhere in thought. That kind of presence leaves a lasting impression because it is rare in a world addicted to distraction. The practice of building presence requires stillness and awareness. You must learn to silence the restless chatter of the mind, to ground your body, and to breathe with intention. The more you practice this, the stronger your presence becomes. It is not about being loud, dramatic, or forceful. It is about being fully yourself, rooted and unshaken. When presence is strong, words become optional. Even in silence, you are heard. Even in stillness, you are seen. Even without speaking, your presence tells a story far greater than language ever could. Master yourself before all else, because the greatest battles you will ever face are not against the outside world, but within your own mind. Every struggle with fear, doubt, laziness, anger, or distraction is a test of mastery. If you cannot control yourself, the world will control you. Success, peace, and strength begin not with conquering others, but with conquering your own impulses. To master yourself is to gain the ability to choose discipline over comfort, focus over distraction, and patience over reaction. Until this mastery is achieved, no amount of external success can bring lasting fulfillment, because without control of self, everything can be lost. The foundation of self-mastery is awareness. You must first see yourself clearly before you can shape yourself. Many people run through life unaware of their habits, blind to their weaknesses, and unwilling to face their flaws. They project their energy outward, blaming circumstances, people, or luck for their lack of progress. But true mastery begins when you turn inward and ask, where am I undisciplined? Where am I weak? And where do I betray myself? This honest reflection is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Without it, you live at the mercy of impulses that will keep pulling you in directions you never intended to go. Once awareness is built, discipline must follow. Self-mastery is not a thought, but a practice. It is trained through daily actions, repeated choices, and small victories. When you resist the urge to procrastinate, you strengthen mastery. When you control your temper instead of letting it control you, you strengthen mastery. When you hold to your commitments, even when no one is watching, you strengthen mastery. These acts may seem small, but each one adds a brick to the foundation of inner power. Over time, they create a structure of strength that no external force can easily shake. Mastering yourself also means mastering your emotions. Feelings are powerful, but they are temporary. If you live only by emotions, your life will swing like a pendulum. High one moment, low the next, never stable. Mastery is not about suppressing emotions, but about directing them. Anger can destroy, or it can fuel determination. Fear can paralyze, or it can sharpen awareness. Joy can distract, or it can inspire gratitude. The difference lies in whether you control your emotions or let them control you. The one who has mastered the self can feel deeply, yet still act wisely, guided by principle rather than impulse. Another dimension of self-mastery is patience. The journey to growth, success, or peace is long, and without patience, you will abandon it too soon. Patience is strength disguised as calm. It is the ability to keep working, waiting, and believing even when results are not visible. Those who lack patience are enslaved by frustration, constantly starting and stopping. Those who master patience can endure, and endurance is what ultimately brings transformation. Patience is not passive. It is the quiet power to keep moving forward steadily, regardless of obstacles or delays. To master yourself before all else is to take responsibility for your life completely. No excuses, no blame, no waiting for others to change. You become the source of your own direction. This mastery builds freedom, because when you are not enslaved by impulses, emotions, or external influences, nothing outside can truly control you. You gain the strength to stay calm in chaos, the discipline to act with consistency, and the clarity to choose wisely. Mastery of self is the highest form of power because it cannot be taken, stolen, or given by anyone else. It is yours alone, built within, and carried wherever you go.